Pike's pushed more and far enough ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's just like trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are Thursday night. There can only be one thing here as well. It's the Radical SR10 Championship Round 7s for the Autodromo International de Algarve. What more can we ask for? It's going to be very, very exciting indeed. 2 races lined up for you this evening. We've got a 9-lap sprint and a 15-lap feature. Good evening, James, from the myth, the legend, the motion simulator. That was, yes, Phil, you are. That was in conjunction with an AI podcast that I put together that said Phil was the man, the myth, the legend, the motion simulator. So that was quite amusing. Let's bring you up to date with the current standings as they are at the moment. James Barry on 190. Simon Edwards only 5 points back. Jorge Gonzaga in third. Luke Maxwell fourth. Then Dan Webster, Josh Reed, Mike Bousson, Paul LeMay and James McRitchie rounding out the top 9 with Paul Crabb finishing off the top 10. Then Jamie Bird, Davey Rollison, Seth Brown, Damien G, Phil Glover, Graham Matthews, Darryl Taylor and Robert Woodward rounding out the top 18. Then we've got Michael LeMay, Phil Jocelyn, Dave Beasley, Neb Smith, Graham Brown and Chris Kane. Should be an interesting one here. We're a couple of minutes away from going into qualifying here. My name's James Parfitt. I'm going to be joined in the booth by Mr. Alex Goldschmidt, who's back this week after his break last week. Going to be very, very excited indeed. Now, one of the things I think we have to look out for as well, how easy is it to overtake? Now, I've watched a couple of races here previously and done a few broadcasts. I'll say a few. It's probably more like 10 here. And the overtaking has been very, very difficult. But we will see what these guys can do in these Radical SR10s. Let's bring Alex into the booth. Alex, welcome in, bud. How are you?
Bit bunged up at the moment, James, but still here ready to rock the mic as always, buddy.
Absolutely should be a fun one. But Phil, where are you tonight? We've got a lot of drivers out at this moment this evening as well. We've lost Seth Brown, Jamie Bird, Robert Woodward, Luke Maxwell, Paul Clark, get well soon, Paul, on that one. We've also lost Mr. Obviously Phil Glover is not coming. Phil Crabb is not here either. So we're very
Gonzaga's missing as well.
Yeah, Gonzaga's missing as well. Phil Jocelyn's not here. James McRitchie's not here. So we are very light on the field for this circuit as well. Going into qualifying, the circuit, it's got mixed reviews. It's got mixed amounts of racing. There's lots of different things that go for this circuit. There's lots of things that go against this circuit. I think the biggest argument has been the overtaking. It's been very difficult to overtake here as well, Alex. How are they going to combat this? Because if it is traditionally difficult to overtake, we're going to have a single, very liney kind of race. What are they going to do?
Well, you're going to have to really sort of, coming out of Galp, the final corner down the hill, that's where and then you've got the incline going onto the start-finish straight. That's where you really got to maximise your overtaking opportunities. into Primera at turn 1. You know, that's a lengthy straight, not too far reserved from the likes of Fuji Speedway, and that's a blooming long straight in its own right. So with the speeds that these drivers will be hitting, they'll be hitting north of 165, 170 miles an hour. So you've got to have the cojones to dive in late at turn 1. Then you've also got the bit from Samsung down the dip into Craig Jones and then Portimao. So you've got a descent, an ascent, and then you've also got a sweeping left-hander to deal with in the middle of all that. So I think it's just about picking your spots. This is probably how can I put it without insulting the circuit? I think it could be the round of the season because we've got Messrs Edwards and Barry who have been dueling all the way through this season, and it's the 7-time champion versus the 1-time champion. But Barry came out of the blocks firing when we started week 1.
Yeah,
it's a long time ago when you think about it. And also the good thing about Portimao on the iRacing server here, James, we have 3 traditional sectors. Thank God.
Yes, absolutely. Rather than the 6 that we've had at Brands and some ludicrous amounts other places as well. But we're back, thank God, to that traditional 3 here. I think you've kind of hit the nail on. You probably have hit the nail on the head. Coming out of Sagres, down through Galp into Primera, that's going to be one of the ideal, optimal places that you can overtake. Now, if you can get a run out of Lagos, you might be able to get one done into Torvip because it's that 90-degree left-hander that you might be able to get done. It's then looking whether or not you can get the run out of Samson up through Craig Jones and into Portimao. The problem with Portimao is, although it is a right-hander, we'll jump on board now and we can give you a rough idea what we mean with Portimao. It's not a sudden stop. It's not a hairpin turn. So we'll keep an eye as these guys start going over the lap. We're to go on board with Dan Webster here as well. Through turn 1, again, turn 1 that fast. It's not slow, it's not fast, it's kind of in the middle, into the right-hander at Lagos. Now, this is what I mean. If you can get this run out of here, keep it close to the left-hander, try and go around the outside from now, you might be able to get going down into Torvip. Now, the problem is obviously it's blind. You can't see it until you start getting in towards the braking zone, so you've got to pick your moments right. Problem is if you're on the outside, there's a chance the guy could go in deep on the inside and just send you on your way. Now, this is the run up through into Samson. You can see it's not a slow corner as such. It's only second gear and it's still quite fast in conjunction with these cars. Down the hill again you go into Craig Jones, who has great pleasure reminding me he's got a name on a circuit. Then over the top as well. And then this long looping right-hander in through Portimao. That's what I mean with Portimao, Alex. It's not a sudden stop. It reminds me of Village and Loop at Silverstone. It's very open. You can take the inside, you can take the outside, the same as turn 1 at Coda, and leave yourself open to being dive bombed. But it ain't a sudden stop, and that's the problem with that corner.
It is, and you've also got elevation changes to worry about at that point in the circuit as well, because through Portimao you're going downhill. Now through into Galp, we go on board with Dan Webster. Edwards is currently leading qualifying with nearly half of the session completed on a 138.496. And Webster goes in with the 138.933. So, again, it's just the challenges of the elevation changes. They are sudden. They're quite aggressive as well. So, effectively, Portimao is a bit like a roller coaster, but you go out for the first lap, cold brakes, cold tires in quali. You feel the back end's getting a little bit loose when you're trying to put the beans on the throttle pedal. But then as you get into your zone, which Simon Edwards clearly is, he's nearly 3/4 of a second up on Dan Webster, and that's in qualifying alone. It just goes to show that you've got to be very, very smooth around this circuit, and as they say, smooth is fast. Here's Mike Bousson. He's gone across the line and is currently P7. But, you look at the differential between him and Simon Edwards. That is 2.2 seconds of differential. Now, obviously, you and I have had talks with Mike in the past, and of course, he's not been a big fan of the SR10, but there have been moments where he has started on the reverse grid pole for the feature, and he's taken the win. James Barry has improved in sectors, gone purple in sector 1, improved in sector 2. He is currently 6 goes top, 1 minute 38.081. So found a 10th more than what Simon Edwards did, and that was pretty much mainly through sector 1.
Yep. That's the thing. I think if you can get this circuit right, you'll absolutely nail it. Lewis, answer to your question is open, dude. You can come and join in, have some fun with us if you want to on a Thursday night in this SR10. You can bring some mates and have some fun as well. As long as you drive clean and not too crazy and don't start punting people all over the place, then you'll be all right. I promise you. Start doing the opposite, you might get removed pretty quickly, but I'm just saying it's open. Simon Edwards goes back on pole, 38.063. We've got literally 3 minutes to go. Great time from Edwards here. They must spend so long practicing the circuit, because I can tell you one thing, the circuit is not easy to learn. There's lots of fast-flowing things going on here. As Mike Bousson is finding out, who I believe literally bought the track not long ago, if I saw the message. Yes, at 7 o'clock. Still haven't bought it. So he's only just bought it at 7 p.m. So if he's doing not very well, that could explain it.
Mike Bousson, I have one question. Why? But James Barry's responded in sector 2. He's just gone purple, and he's just coming through Galp at the moment as we speak, across the rise. Very interesting start-finish straight here at Portimao, as he is not faster than Edwards, who still holds on by 17 thousandths of a second. Possibly the closest battle we've had between these two for overall pole position for race 1 since the season began, 7 weeks ago. Dan Webster seems to be doing pretty well in the 111. It's good to have him back with us as well, because he joined us, I think it was the week before last, wasn't it?
Yeah, a couple of weeks back on that one. So, man, Portimao is very, very hard. It is. It's got a Craig Jones corner, so that could be why. Oh, Craig's in YouTube chat. Track not suitable for me, even though it's got your name on it as one of the corners.
And no, Craig, it's not named after you.
No, I know. Don't. I've heard it so many times.
Play to his ego, James. Don't play to his ego. Not this time of night.
No, constantly hear it from that as well. At least to me. Look, dude, and Lewis, to be honest with you, dude, it'll be hard for me as well. I'm not a driver, so I feel your pain on that one. I'd probably need the racing line on just so I know what direction I'm going, to be blatantly honest with you. David Rollison goes into 5th. Darrell Taylor goes round the corner. That was Graham Matthews. He made a mistake, I believe, on that one. Darrell Taylor's got a green in sectors 2, and then going over the line for 3. There's the line there at the beginning. And did Taylor improve? He did on a 1:41.96. Graham Brown improving, and so is James Barry, who's just a little bit far back. And he's got a purple in sector 1. Is this going to be enough? It is just 38.028. That sector 1 has got to be the one where people are gaining times, Alex, because there's been a lot of people change that.
Yeah, I mean, Barry just did a low 28.43 in that sector. Best effort from Edwards, a 28.51.
Yeah.
So Barry's decided to call it quits. Edwards has done a personal best in sector 2, and he's just over 80% of the way through the lap. Now he's coming through Galp as we speak, coming through in towards Galp. So if he can swing that car in tight to the apex as hard as he dares, let the car drift out to the left-hand side, use a little bit of that exit curbing, Edwards across the line does not improve. So Barry again takes pole position. I hate to think how many he's got so far this season.
I dread to think, to be honest with you. James Barry is in first place with Simon Edwards 2nd, Dan Webster 3rd, then Paul LeMay 4th, Graham Brown in 5th, and David Rolliston in 6th, then Mike Bousson down in 7th, Darrell Taylor 8th, Graham Matthews 9th, and the brother of Paul, Mr. Michael LeMay, in 10th place at the moment. So got a lot of people out here, so we are a bit short, a bit late on the grid, but I'm sure we'll still have the great racing that we've become accustomed to here for the UK Sim Racers. So hold on, UK Sim Racers for the Radical Race Series. Sorry,
that's Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's Tuesday. That's because Craig's in the chat, and I got all the confused. I don't deserve a corner. I deserve a track.
Shut up.
Yeah, I think. Look, dude, just because you're back from the afterlife, it doesn't mean that you fully get an award for that, dude, or a track. Let's be real about it, Craig. Come on that one. As these guys are on the grid, just wait for Mike Pousson and his traditionally late gridding for whatever reason Mike does. I have no idea. Maybe he goes on
crunching carrots.
Yeah, crunching carrots and topping up the combine harvester and making sure the cows are in for Mike. So let's see how these guys get on. Going to be very interesting indeed. He normally waits till about 10 seconds before the end of the blinking gridding period, which is only about 2 minutes. But yeah, he still don't get on quick enough. Michael LeMay's jumped back into the pit lane. They're actually going to start if Michael has done that, because he's been on the grid and gone back, and the lights will come on because Mike's now on the grid. Could leave Michael LeMay in the pit lane. 5 lights, ladies and gentlemen. We are green for race number 1 here this evening. Coming down into turn 1. James Barry there as well. Edwards trying to cover off Dan Webster. Edwards trying to go around the outside. Barry opens up the steering, says, nope, not this time, dear sir. You're not allowed through. But James Barry holding it off there as well. But boy, oh boy, did he have to hold off and run through Lagos down into Torvip now. Barry taken down off track on the outside. Edwards closing up as much as he possibly can with the draft. Paul LeMay in there as well. He's got Dan Webster tucked up. Graham Brown doing a great job. Bousson and Rolliston side by side. Are they going to make it through Torvip in one piece? They absolutely are. But it's James Barry taking the whole shot on that run down into Samson now, Alex. And he did a great job. Got away from the start that he had to.
Yeah, Paul LeMay made a good inroads. He's up to third past Dan Webster. Darrell Taylor initially moved up to 6th place, but then lost out to Bousson, who got through on Rolliston on that 3-way exchange into Torrevip as they go through Portimao. They're going to go down the hill and then into this double left compilation, which then tightens on itself, and then the run up the hill through into Sagres. And it's going to be, down. You've got to really sort of keep it nice and smooth around this circuit. Edwards taking a lot more curve going through Sagres, so that might give him an extra kp mile an hour or 2. But it's going to be Barry after the opening lap. It's a very short run out of the final corner at Galp to cross the line, so the start line is somewhere else completely different to the finish line. And Barry after the opening lap has got a 0.4 of a second advantage ahead of Edwards, but Edwards is closing that gap under slipstreaming as they head through Primera at T1, now into turn 2, which they've taken about 4th gear, 100 miles an hour. Then it's hard on the brakes down to around 2nd or 1st at about 60, and then they start to accelerate out of the corners. But yeah, Barry got the whole shot he needed. Edwards wasn't caught napping. Paul LeMay just dropped it.
Yeah, LeMay just spun round. Paul LeMay, unfortunately for him, round he goes, drops down the order. I'm not quite sure how Michael's ended up a lap down here, considering, I don't know, on that one. That's a bit confusing there once again. Just noticed no car sounds. Can you tell me if you still got it, Craig? I've turned them up quite a lot, so you should have them there as well. But Barry and Edwards still closing together on that run through the left-hander of Craig Jones. They go coming into Portimao. That double right almost is the first part of it. Then it opens up nice and wide, and then there's the exit there. Through Portimao they go on the run now down into the left-hander before they go into Sagres. This is the only corner without a name on this circuit. Actually, there's 2 corners without a name on this circuit, and this is one of them. Now down through Sagres they go, then they're going to almost plunge down the hill here from Simon Edwards' car, and they go down, they go up, and then watch the drop from the other side. It's keeping it close to the right, and then down they go. This is where they start picking up speed now, Alex. It starts making its way forward. Edwards in the draft as well. 150, 155, 158, 160, 64, 65. Are we going to hit 70 before the corner? 170 just down into the corner, into the right-hander of Primera.
Yeah, that's a big, like I said, it's a long start finish straight, and that's going to be your perfect opportunity. But deep into Lagos at turn 3 goes Edwards on the brakes, gets that gap down to about a quarter of a second. Now through into Torivip, you can see now that Barry is starting to move a little bit to try and get the toe away from Edwards. Now into turn 5 at Torivip, up the hill. And then they've got this fast left-hander, which they're accelerating through at 4th gear, up to 5th, about 3/4 of the way through the corner. Now into Samsung, hard on the brakes again. 3rd gear at 60 miles an hour. Probably so Barry can keep the traction, but he was nearly all 4 wheels off track there, and could have nearly got an ex-incident point on that particular occasion. But you know what? When we had a post-race interview with Simon Edwards, he said, "Oh, I haven't got many tricks in my magician's hat still."
He's got loads left.
He's got plenty. He's got plenty left in reserve, and we've still got quite a few more weeks to go after this. We're running right up until 5th of December. Michael LeMay has dropped it off track again and has ended up doing the old control out, delete, return to garage. But in the meantime, Dan Webster has gotten past Graham Brown. Oh, Michael.
No, Mikey, no! Sorry, couldn't resist. Oh, that one. Barry and Edwards now literally 3 tenths apart. Graham Brown with the fastest lap at a 38.444 at the moment. He's tucked up behind Webster, lap 4 of 9. You can hear the cars now to make it better. Can you and Alex turn your mics off? Craig, what will I do about you, dear sir? Well, I'm seeing you Saturday, so be careful, young man. You might not come out of that forest. Let's put it that way.
To dawn.
Yeah, it will be, dude. I tell you what, if anybody is around Bournemouth and is down in Moors Valley, come and see us down there as well. They've got a Halloween event, which we're both heading down to, so it should be fun on that one. Darrell Taylor, Paula May, scrapping it out with Rollo in there as well. Rolleston in that Tiger Racing delivering machine. Doing a great job holding on to Paul LeMay, looking to try and get to Mike Bousson. Mike's driving around a little bit in no man's land at the moment. He's got 1.9 behind and he's got about 5.22 in front of him. So don't forget, he only bought the track probably not even an hour and a half ago. So there we go for Mike. But Paul LeMay doing a great job with David Rolleston, taking that inside line. That's what I was talking about. That is exactly what I was talking about. You leave that inside open, you start diving down there as well. Paul tried, but Rollo got the run.
Yeah, quite convincingly there as well, but he's opening the door again. Paul's going to get him probably before they even hit the apex of Sagres, unless Rollo decides to dive up the inside, which he does, keeps the tighter line. LeMay carrying the overspeed now. This could be very brave coming through Galp. And decides, well, discretion is the better part of valor, slots in behind in the wheel tracks of Rollo. As they come across the line, he'll be absolutely chomping at the bit, and LeMay dives to the right-hand side, nearly checks up, nearly a hip check between side panels, and, Darrell Taylor, the number 22 Skittles edition SR10, very much in the mix. So is Graham Matthew. I think Michael LeMay's race is... after that smack into the barriers we just saw, he won't be taking any further part. All bit wide there from Paul LeMay, trying to put the frighteners on David Rolleston. That could open the door for Darrell Taylor if LeMay's not careful. And Taylor looks to the inside, shows his nose to the number 27 as we ride on board the number 22 and 8th.
Yeah, here we go. Darrell Taylor now through the left-hander on the right-hander to Samson. We go down the hill. Here is that right-hander, Paul LeMay, still climbing all over the back of Rollo. Rollo's not giving him any room, mind you. He's literally telling him if he's going to go, he's got to go the long way round for David Rolleston. On to the front left now we go of Paul LeMay's car as we're looking at the car. If you're staring at the car, it's on the front right, just so you all know. Dropping down the hill out of Portimao. This is where I expect Paul LeMay to try and close right in. He's got to carry as much speed as he can to get the exit, then get the run through Sagres, because it's going to be Sagres down into Galp where most of this is going to take place. And I can tell you one man that is taking place at the moment. They're going to come over the hill practically together. James Barry and Simon Edwards. Across the track he goes. Lots of keeping there. Edwards is going to try that outside line down into turn 1. Is he going to be able to sweep round? Is Barry going to keep his foot in the air? Edwards has surely got the cutback. He's got the overlap underneath him now. Going into Lagos. Edwards is going to make it through. Great job from Simon Edwards. Set him up through Galp, coming out through Sagres and Galp, and got that run down into Primera.
Yeah, it's a case of just building it up over a couple of laps. You know, you're not only just thinking about the next 2, 3, maybe 4 corners in front of you here at Portimao. You've got to think about the whole lap. And that's how you really got to plan your strategy here on these Radical SR10s. But, well, the good thing is that James Barry is now going to go, right, let's just follow Simon for a couple of laps and throw a howitzer up the inside when he least expects it. But you can't pull the wool over Simon Edwards' eyes, that's for sure.
No, he's not a 7-time champion for no reason. Let's just put it that way here. Good evening, Phil, as well. There, Jamie Bird, you're in. Welcome in. How are you? Hope you're fine. And everything's going well, but Edwards still leading this one with Barry tucked up underneath. Webster making more gains going forward, and Graham Brown, unfortunately, is making backwards movements, so that's never good. Paul LeMay and Rollo still literally going handbags at dawn, having a right little ding-dong, down for 6th and 7th place here. Let's pick up on them. That was
someone
Graham.
spun in the background.
Yeah, Graham Matthews, I believe, in that brightly livered outside. Oh, he's going again. Settle down, Graham. Your tyres are smoking hot there, dear sir. You need to bring them down a little bit before you start slamming on that throttle. Now Paul LeMay's going to try and have a go here, Alex. He's got to try and make a move if he can. Can he get Rollo into turn 1?
Well, if he's closing at that rate of speed, is he going to go to the left? Yes, he is. He decides to go to the left-hand side, and more to the point, well, didn't really make full advantage of that, if I'm completely honest with you. But he's going to go, he's going to dive up the inside. Exactly textbook, just like Simon Edwards did a few minutes ago.
Yeah, and what makes it worse is Rollo did not get that corner right and has lost 1.3 seconds.
Ouch.
So that Darrell Taylor is actually more closer to him than Rollo is now to LeMay. So on that run once more for Barry and Edwards here as well. Barry's got a lot to try and do now to this wily old fox almost at the front here. He's a tough one, tough nut to crack is Simon Edwards, and he has taken Barry a little bit to school this season at a couple of tracks. Spa, I remember, was one of them as well. So Barry's got a lot to try and do here on the back of Simon Edwards.
Yeah, also schooled him at Alton Park, no chicanes, if you might remember, when they were going through the right-hander at Knickerbrook, and Barry was trying to put it round the outside, and Edwards went, hang on, hold my beer and watch this. Just did it to absolute perfection, then defended really, really well. But we've got 1 and 1 more to go. We're on to 2 laps remaining of this circuit, and yeah, Barry just, he's just put in the fastest lap of his race. I mean, well, according to our live timing that we see at the moment, you and I, James, the fastest lap of the race is actually Simon Edwards, 1:38.239, but may not have counted if he went slightly over track limits, so it would have been disallowed as the fastest lap of the race. But yeah, Barry showing as fastest lap holder at the moment, 1:38.331. But yeah, I think at the moment, the minute that Edwards got through on the start-finish straight and heading into heading into Lagos after that great switchback, very reminiscent of old Nigel Mansell in the days when he was running the old Formula 1, our Nige. Do the old dummy and just hope it works. And well, it did work for Edwards. Barry is very much on the back foot at the moment, as you know, very shortly we'll be getting the white flag lap out. Yeah,
I think the problem is as well, I think Barry's now pushing to the max, and that pushing to the max is not doing his tyres any good here. There was a down in Sampson, he ran in a little bit deep and had to stop that car sharpish for Barry. So he needs to just relax. You've got to get the SR10 a little bit of a moment to just settle down and cool them down a little bit. You can't just be throwing it around and hoping it sticks. Ask Graham Matthews. He found that out, where he went round once and then put the accelerator down in the next corner and nearly went round again. But now Edwards has just opened this up. He's nearly out at 8 tenths. 7 tenths for Barry. 6 tenths coming off the corner. Is this draft? Half a second back. Look at the pace he's picking up here for Barry. How strong is that draft at Algarve? And it literally... it's about 6-7 tenths of drafting gained coming out the corner of Galp there, Alex. That's massive.
I mean, especially when you have to consider how low to the ground these cars are, and when you've got that kind of slipstream, that powerful slipstream as well, Because the biggest thing is that Edwards was holding in the... Oh, here goes Barry up the inside. At Torrevip, they're going to be wheel to wheel pretty much. But then it's going to be the run into Samsung very, very soon. And Edwards is saying to Barry, no, you don't! Oh, and that was not what Simon Edwards had in the playbook.
Oh, dearie, dearie me.
Oh, yeah.
What's his nose?
Yeah. Oh. Slightest of touches.
James Barry then looks like he's going to wrap this up. Could be Webster, could be Brown. Edwards is still in fourth. Buson's still there. But it is going to be James Barry under some form of contention, I'm sure. I have to have a look and see. We'll let them sort that one out. That's down to these guys to discuss and do, but it is James Barry is going to come over the line, taking the win in race number 1. Up over he goes. There's the finishing line there. Dan Webster in second. Graham Brown comes over the line in fourth, and a very short Simon Edwards will be in fifth. Mike Buson and Paul LeMay having that run out of gap down to the line. LeMay trying to take that wider line. Is he going to be able to get it down? He's not. It is going to be Buson. It is going to be LeMay. What about Rollison and Taylor? It's going to be Rollo. He's going to hold on there. And then Graham Matthews comes over the line to round off, to finish off this race number 1. That is going to be a contentious issue for the masses. And let's bring you up the results from race number 1. James Barry wins race number 1 after colliding with Simon Edwards on the final lap of the race. Dan Webster in second, Graham Brown in third, and Simon Edwards in fourth. You know, Mike Buson in fifth, Paul LeMay sixth, David Rollison seventh, Darrell Taylor eighth, and Graham Matthews and Michael LeMay finishes 6 laps down after binning it here as well. That's a contentious ending.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Looking at it from having seen those various different replays, I think what Simon Edwards was trying to do was to move across so he could get the perfect racing line for the next right-hander when they were going up. And yeah, it was just a case of unstoppable force versus a immovable object. And unfortunately, Edwards ended up spinning around. And that's when you've got 2 drivers, one who's got 7 championships in this series behind him. You got the one who wants to change the guard, so to speak, in the form of James Barry. Yes, there will. I feel my ears burning already, James, because I'm sure there's going to be chatter between them, and then we'll leave it up to the people that organise the series to make the final call on that one. But yeah, it's not a place that I would have seen Simon Edwards and James Barry try to go wheel to wheel, and then one gets squeezed, then bang, into the barriers, or very close to being in the barriers, but Edwards was still able to recover that to a 4th place finish, nevertheless.
And he's going to be ahead of him on the grid for race number 2, as it is a top 10 reverse, which is practically a full reverse grid here this evening as well. Phil Glover, oh dear. Jamie Bird, ay. It's got a YouTube chat. Not sure where you hear that, Jamie, to be blatantly honest with you. How strange that you put that in YouTube chat there. I wonder where you heard that one before here as well. Warm-up has just finished, so we'll get to the grid for race number 2 very, very shortly when the session changes over. And we'll see how these guys get on for race number 2. Michael LeMay will be on pole. Graham Matthews in second. Darrell Taylor third. David Rolliston in fourth. Then Paul LeMay, Mike Buson, Simon Edwards, Graham Brown, Dan Webster and James Barry at the back. I'm predicting here, Alex, I'm going to be big brave and literally throw it out there. Simon Edwards leading the race by the end of lap 1.
I'll say lap 2 just for the benefit of the doubt and not sit on the fence like I've normally done in the past.
Well, that saves me with the tweezers and the splinters.
You said that the second time this week.
Well, it's not a good look, mate, I tell you.
No, it's not a good look. No. Say, bend over, embrace yourself.
This may only hurt a minute.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, there's one. There's another one. Mr. LeMay, Michael LeMay, has yet to join us. Neither has Dan Webster on the grid yet. So still got a little bit of time.
Yeah, they got 60 seconds. The only time it kicks... Oh! Both men not making it. Michael LeMay back in pit lane. 4 lights, 5 lights, short grid. Graham Matthews gets the car off the line alongside Darrell Taylor. Matthews at the moment has got turn 1 all to himself. He got off the line very, very swift there. Done a great job. Into turn 1 he goes. Graham Matthews leading the way. Dave Rollo second, Taylor third, Edwards still fourth, but 3 places. Paul LeMay looks like, unfortunately, he's had a moment. He's come off and crashed there. But I can tell you one thing, Graham Matthews, get on it, son, as he leads going down into Torvip here. Great job from him. Absolutely amazing, leading the way, but he has got the very fast David Rollo climbing up the inside. You've left the door wide open. Oh, through the left-hander they go, side by side, Rollo and Matthews. Matthews is going to look to come over.
Oh, cool. There was nearly a repeat of what we saw in race 1.
Oh, Taylor.
Oh, cool. Oh, Darrell Taylor. That was a heck of a move there, but now he's got Simon Edwards making it 3 wide into the next left-hander through at Craig Jones. Edwards up to second, Rollo third. Oh, and who locks up? I think that was Edwards.
Oh my God!
It was like Skittles.
Boutson.
No pun intended there. My godfathers.
Boutson has just come in and scored a strike. Unbelievable.
We got tagged from behind.
Yeah, nowhere. Bang, bang, bang. What a way for Mike Boutson to make an entry.
It was like Valtteri Bottas taking out both Red Bulls at the Turkish Grand Prix a couple of years ago.
Oh, he got a bump from Graham Matthews. Graham Brown, and then Brown lifted him up in the air, and then it was just watch the 4 as he just comes in and bang, strike for Mike Boutson. Simon Edwards out, Rollo's gone round, Taylor's gone round. I think they already had contact. James Barry was stuck in there as well. Graham Brown, who politely started it almost by lifting Boutson up into the air, gets through, but Graham Matthews still out in front. This man is still there. He's not won a race yet all season. He's been in the top 10. He has done a great job. Oh, go Graham.
It was like, anyone might remember Red Bull Ring 2016 with the sheep in-house. It was very reminiscent of that with, Timo Scheider hitting the back of Robert Wickens, who then went into the back of, I think it was Pascal Wehrlein at the top of the hill. It was very reminiscent of that. I mean, Taylor went into the back of Rollo, so they'd already had contact. But yeah, that unfortunate incident. I mean, Boutson, no surprise, is in the pits. Webster has only been out for less than a lap, and he's back in pit lane. I think he's called it time tonight. Oh, dearie me. Oh, that's James Barry just having a moment, going up the hill in towards Sagres. He dived up the inside of Graham Brown. Both the 2 main protagonists of the championship are stumbling, either inadvertently through no fault of their own, or they've just made a mistake. Look at this from the helicam. Barry is turning that car in sharply to the left. Brown's there trying to rotate the car around. Barry ends up going, oh dear, contact, and Barry gets a little turf. Left front wheel goes up thanks to the sausage curb on the inside, and whoopsie daisy, he nearly went around.
Yeah, LeMay still putting Barry under pressure. LeMay's going to go and send it. They're going to make... they're not going to make... Are they going to make... No. Barry ends up coming back in front here as well, but he's under pressure from LeMay. Edwards is coming, by the way. Rollerson is still there. Michael LeMay is still on track. Dan's in YouTube chat. I missed the start again, and the warm-up's getting shorter. Dan is 2 minutes every single time, mate, between race 1 and race 2. You gotta be ready. You gotta be ready, son. On that one, it's always been 2 minutes. Come on, mate, you should remember that. But Graham Matthews doing a great job out in front at the moment. Graham Brown tucked in right behind him here. Is Brown going to allow for Matthews to have his moment? Well, this is going to answer it. This is going to answer it. Oh, they're going to... No, Brown, Barry! Oh! Brown, Barry, Brown. I don't know what was going on then, but it was all getting a little bit messy. Brown's
It was going to be a code Brown.
It was. Cold Brown for Barry and Brown, and Matthews out there trying to just stay away from it all. This guy's going absolute hell to leather. Brown's, he nearly contacted him again. That was not what Graham Matthews needed right about now. Matthews needed somebody to put Barry under pressure to allow him to at least continue in the lead. But Barry's now going to get through, but the draft is going to be strong. They're strong all the way through. It's 6 attempts, give or take. You can see the 5 of them literally handbags at dawn here, Alex. I feel like I need cowboy music. Wow, 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 wow. As all these guys going into turn 1.
I'm just waiting for the kazoo to start playing as well.
Oh,
you know, like the circus music, you know.
Absolutely.
Absolute craziness. James Barry now leads. Paul LeMay right up his rear trumpet at the moment, heading into Torre Vip here on lap 4 out of 15. Matthew in 3rd, Edwards 4th, Brown in 5th. Then it's about 2.6 seconds back to Rollo. Michael LeMay and Darrell Taylor rounding out the 8 runners. Well, our resident carrot cruncher from Froome has been in the pits for, no surprise, 4.5 minutes after that big moment when he got punted from behind, yeeted, and then parlayed straight into Simon Edwards. You see, I've done it again, but this time I've done it in one sentence.
I know, yeeted and parlayed in one sentence. Jesus Christ, there as well. Keep the noise down, apparently. I presume my wife and your wife are having a conversation, Mr. Jones, and my wife can hear me in the office at this moment in time on that one, and I presume that is where that is coming from. So that's probably an order from the wife who's on the sofa behind the wall. So bless her little cotton socks on that one. Probably talking to Mr. Jones's wife, hence he's in YouTube chat here as well. But LeMay now has got a task. This is where he's going to close. This is where he's going to make it. You can see it coming down. 4-3, 4-2, 4, 3-9, 3-8, 3-7. He is going to go and absolute banshee him right about now. He's got the option to send. He's not going to send it. I don't think Edwards has got the pace, but he's holding off Matthews, who led for 4 laps it was, I think, for Graham Matthews. Yep. So fair play to him. But this is turning in to an absolute ding-dong. And I feel like I'm watching a prize fight between Tyson and Holyfield rather than a race here, I suppose. Yeah, true. It's like Mike Bisping versus Luke Rockhold for the middleweight championship of the world at the UFC. It's just like no one has, no one's got any idea how this race is going to turn out. I mean, Simon Edwards will be running with damage, 100%. That's why he's running at the moment like high 1 minute 40.5. So after that big old hit he got from Buisson, who was literally punted over the grass, Michael LeMay is battling away with Rollo for 6th place, and James Barry has just put in the fastest lap of the race, no surprise, 1 minute 38.980. But it's LeMay versus Rollo, and that being Michael, not Paul, who's currently in 2nd position and has just set lap time 8/100 slower than James Barry on his previous lap. And I've just seen what you put in the general chat and lobby Discord as well. So Mike Buisson and tagged him. Brilliant. Well, here we go. It's now about what Paul LeMay's going to be. He's still getting a swift amount of draft, even at 8 attempts at this moment in time. But Barry is opening it up here, and he's pulling away. It's got to be for James Barry to try and stay out in front. LeMay's got to go. I don't think Edwards has got the pace. That damage has cost him. You can see the left side or the right side, depending on which way you really want to look at it. As he comes around this corner, the other side on the right, or this side here, you can see the damage he's got up the left-hand side. Look at that. It looks like that pod almost absolutely caved in there from Mike Buisson, who just, I don't know, he literally just got over the gravel, nowhere to go. Do you know what corner that reminds me of? This happened before. Arenberg at Nords, downhill, coming through the fast drag up over the left-hander, and you're on the outside, you've hit the grass, and you're just coming across the track, and nobody has got hope if you are there. I can tell you that much.
It is Bob and no hope, and both have left the building already.
Yep.
That was the biggest problem, and I just thrown my own GIF into there as well and tagged Mike. Now we're going to get a 50 million word essay, I think. Bless him.
Yeah.
But you know, at the end of the day, Mike was not at fault for that one completely.
No, there was nowhere for him to go. Come on, let's be real about it. You can't moan about it. He got lifted up in the air. We can have another look here for Mike, and you can see what happened to him. He was lifted up from Graham Brown. Brown's going to come in behind him right about now. And then watch, at the bottom of the screen, bang, there's the lift. You take the SR10 rear wheels away. Poor old Mike is just an absolute passenger at this moment in time. Onto the grass, can't get it stopped, can't do anything. Hits the sausage curb, lifts up in the air, boom, straight into Edwards. And that was it. There was nowhere for him to go. So, you know, look, as much as I love giving him grief, that really probably wasn't his fault there. So, great job for him anyway to recover. Barry out in front by 1.5 seconds now.
Yeah, well, the thing is, Graham Brown's now closing in on Edwards, and they are half a second apart. So, you look at the lap times, Edwards is half a second slower. Now, he's running with the wounded vehicle at the minute because of that incident, which the person who's chasing him down did cause. And it was just, I think it was just overspeed. I think Graham may have just completely mistimed it. I think the song that would come into mind would be Whoop, There It Is, for what we've just seen on the replay.
Yeah.
You know, so the whoop would be as the point of impact between Mike and Simon occurred. So, but yeah, we do have to... We do have to make light of certain situations, especially when it was not Mike's fault. And it's a real shame because it's put him out of, you know, possibly a really, really good amount of points here tonight. Because obviously that would mean he'd have inroads on the likes of Gonzaga, the likes of Glover, Clark, et al. To have a chance of maybe getting himself a little bit further up the leaderboard. But you know what? There's always another opportunity, Mike. There's always another week around the corner, and that will be the case in just 7 days' time.
Yeah, I just love giving him grief. Join us in 7 days' time, by the way, as we're heading to Donington Park Racing Circuit on the Nationals, so that should be a fun one. Edwards and Brown are near enough together. Rollo and Michael LeMay are going side by side. Down,
careful.
Yeah, Rollo's had to take the wide line. LeMay's coming back at him again. He's going to send it on the ins. Too deep, Mike. Way too deep there, buddy. Rollo just says adios, enjoy that one, as he has gone in too deep there. But Brown and Edwards still going. I'm surprised Edwards is managing to hang on here. I've got a funny feeling he must have damage. But now for Graham Brown, is it kind of settling in behind him, or has he got damage? I don't know, because I would have thought Brown would have gone a lot quicker than Edwards.
Well, he's probably got front splitter damage anyway because of the hit on Mike Buson. So, aero imbalance when you got a problem with your front splitter is okay. Yeah, he's going to get a little slipstream from Edwards. That's neither here nor there. But the front splitter on these cars, very, very helpful to the aerodynamic properties of these SR10 radicals. So, you know, you look at the point of impact when Mike hit Simon, and it was the right rear. So of course that's back axle. Whether that's probably got a little bit of a wobble on it or on it, but at the minute he's still doing enough to keep Graham at bay, even though they're half a second apart. And Edwards has just gone quicker than Brown on that on that particular lap. He just did a 39.14. Brown did a 39.19. Of course, it doesn't register as Edwards' fastest lap because he might have had a slight off track, which would have been an incident point, and thereby disallowing that lap. But it still counts for him in some way, shape, or form as his fastest lap of the race so far. So he's doing enough, but the thing is, being now in third, but he's 3.8 seconds behind Paul LeMay, who is now 4.2 seconds behind Barry, and Barry now with these amount of laps remaining is on cruise control now. He could just play it safe because it's going to be a win on the cards for him.
Hold on a minute, what went on here with David Rolliston? What did you do? Because all of a sudden you've lost that place to Michael LeMay again. He's coming round. He's coming around. Yeah, and this is where Michael managed to get the job done. They swapped places about 6 or 7 times after that. So fair play to them on that one. This is going to be an interesting 6 laps now. Let's see if Rollo can catch up with Michael LeMay once more. Graham Brown is losing a little bit of time over Simon Edwards at this moment. So he's going to have to try and close it up here. Not doing a great job. Fastest lap from Barry over the line at 1:38.19. It's not like Mike to plough into people. It's not. He's used to ploughing the fields of Somerset, is Mike. But there we go. As he goes and unfortunately just sits in the pits. He's been in there for about 13 minutes, to be blatantly honest, and has not moved. So there we go. But Edwards and Brown still closed up. Has Barry got this one wrapped up, Alex, do we think?
Pretty much. I mean, he's 5 seconds up the road. You know, when he's lapping 1.3 seconds a lap quicker than Paul LeMay. I mean, it was a high 1:38.18 for Barry. LeMay just hit a 1:39.4 high. That's a big amount of that's nearly 1.3 seconds on that lap alone. So James Barry doing exactly what he needs to do in order to keep himself at the sharp end of the field. And obviously this will be 2 from 2 for him tonight as well, which will keep him ahead of chief rival Simon Edwards going into week 8.
Yep, absolutely. And he's will just get that point to open it up here for Barry. He's going to be taking 2 for 2 by the looks of it. Paul LeMay just hasn't got the pace to keep up with him. Edwards can't get near LeMay. Brown still tucked in behind Edwards at this moment in time on the way through Sagres and then dropping down the hill to Galp. Is he going to be able to make the move? He's closing in now, 4 temps. We've seen the draft out at 6. This could be Brown's run here. If Brown can get... Oh, nope. Edwards dives and tightens it up there. Brown slots in behind him. This is where he's got to go now. You've still got about 200 metres, if not more. Is he going to look down the inside? He is. He's forcing Brown. He's forcing Edwards off that line. Edwards says, nope, too wise for that one, mate.
Yeah, I think the thing was Graham went a bit too deep into turn 1. It had echoes of Barrichello and Schumacher a few years ago when Barrichello nearly got forced into the wall on the pit straight. But you know, shout out to Graham Brown for giving it a go, and just running. I think just went for it. He went a bit too deep there into Torre Vip. So again, he's got to do all this hard work once more. You know, Edwards knows this car like the back of his hand. He's been a 7-time champion. Graham is still having to learn from the Grandmaster Jedi at the minute.
Yes, sir. Graham still just cannot get through. Rollo cannot get through, or Michael LeMay either. And it's still, well, he gets close and then unfortunately just doesn't seem to be able to get that overtake done. We're on literally 4 laps after this one. As Barry's going to come over the line, dropping down now. Through Gout we go. And now we're on board with Rolleston and LeMay in to the top part of the circuit to Portimao. And then dropping down that hill as well. But this could be a very interesting finish, interesting ending for Simon Edwards. He kind of needs to hang on to this place, really. He can't afford to lose anymore. And Brown's just said, well, you got to go, I got to go. So he does. Oh, they almost made contact there. That was close.
That was a bit sharp, wasn't it?
It was a little bit. But Graham Brown manages to hang on going into turn number 1. So, yeah, needs to be a little bit careful. That was almost contact between the two of them.
Going through to turn 3 at Lagos, now into the left at 4 before the short shoot up to Torre Vip at T5. But yeah, I mean, it was just a case that Brown had got a better run on Edwards that particular time. Now through into Torre Vip. It's more a case of, does Edwards have the cojones to dive through at the inside at Samsung, because they're going to try and go into the right-hander here. It's then going to be hard on the brakes. Turn it in again. Tighter line taken by Edwards. Oh, bit of a moment there for Brown. This could open up the door through Craig Jones. Round the outside. Oh, Edwards makes it look easy.
So Brown for Brown on that one.
Oh, and a clean up on aisle 3 to boot.
Exactly. Now he's going to try and go again. He's got to go again. I think Edwards very much is relying on this draft here. I think there is a speed difference, but I just don't know if it is noticeable enough that Graham Brown's really kind of capitalising on it. Through Gout we go, and he's not close enough. Barry on a 137.9. Edwards is going again to the right-hand side. Brown's going to slot in once more. This is the same moment he's got here for Graham Brown. He should be able to get this done. There's the first move. Edwards is on our outside right about now as well. Brown's going to keep that line done and hold it. Now comes Edwards back at him. And Brown just unfortunately cannot maintain that outside line. Into Slagos we go. Through the right-hander. Brown's going to look up the inside. That corner opens up. Opens up. Yeah. Nearly.
Adios mio is what I'm saying on that one. Right. But into Toddy Vip again. Edwards is just, as you rightly put, just using the slipstream when he's behind Graham Brown and then uses it to capitalise. Brown then gets back at him, and then it's like musical chairs all over again. It's like, oh, to me, to you, to me, to you. In the meantime, Rollo has got past Michael LeMay. They've been swapping 6th and 7th position more times than I've had hot roast dinners on a Sunday afternoon. Something I'm quite looking forward to this coming Sunday, because I've been told, yeah, you're having a roast dinner.
I've got roast chicken. I bought mine the other day.
Some normality resumes.
Yeah, I bought my chicken. I went out, I caught it, plucked it, stuck it in the freezer.
Graham Brown had a wiggle there.
Yeah, here we go, lap 13. He's lost a little bit of time now for Graham Brown. In fact, he lost a lot of time. He was very slow. Saga is there and is now not going to get the run. Now LeMay and Rollo still going at each other. They have swapped places quite a few times at this moment in time. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 over the last 4 laps. So fair play to them. They're having a right little ding-dong further down here. Brown's lost time on Edwards now. Is it going to be Edwards ahead of Brown for that final podium?
Let's see what the jury decides. You know, it could go either way. I mean, Edwards has done everything he's needed to do to keep the 3rd place. Of course, that's going to still keep him very close to James Barry, who's on course to taking another double victory this season. I've lost count of the amount of double victories that Barry and Edwards have taken apiece so far, but it won't be that much between them come the, when we get to Interlagos for the final week number 13 on December 5th. Of course, a track that we both like, you and I, James, and that is a perfect way to see off this this season in its finale. Of course, we hit also the Americanized part of our championship very, very soon. But yeah, it could be interesting, but I think Edwards now has got enough of a run. And he's 9/10 up the road from Graham Brown, so Brown is going to pull a rabbit out of the hat right about now and hope and pray that Edwards might make a mistake. But even though the white flag lap is now underway, last lap of the evening, with Barry 11.4 seconds ahead of Paul LeMay, Edwards, I think, has just done enough to keep that gap stabilised between himself and Brown for that final step on the rostrum.
Yeah, Darrell Taylor's made some form of boo-boo. Unfortunately for Darrell Taylor. Oh, you're too fast here, mate. The back end's coming around. There you go. Feel like Mystic Meg this evening here as well. As Rollo and LeMay go right over the line again together. LeMay's going to try and sweep round the outside. Is he this time? Is he going to be big and brave? He's not. He kind of just tucks in. He's not going to have many other places over the final lap to do this. Darrell Taylor running around at the back. Through Galp, he's going to start his final lap. Bouson's still in the pips. Webster's out. Barry's leaving by 12 seconds as he drops down in through Portimao for the final time. He has got literally 4 corners to go for James Barry from the insert name E-Racing team. Through the left-hander now, only 2 more to go. We've got Sagres, we've got Galp, and it will be James Barry taking a double victory again. Be interesting to see how that race 1 victory pans out when we have a chat, but he is going to come over the line. James Barry wraps up the win here for round 7 at Algarve. He's going to go over the line. He takes the victory, and he's taking it in style by 12.7 seconds, give or take, over Paul LeMay, and he's going to come over that line and take second place. Simon Edwards is going to hang on into third ahead of Graham Brown, who's unfortunately started the chaos. Graham Matthews has survived and has gone over in 5th place. Great job from him. I think that's actually his highest finish of the season for Graham Matthews. So an absolute stellar job from him. Who's going to come over to Rolleston LeMay? It is Rollo. Comes over the line there as well. Darrell Taylor just had a little bit of a moment on the final lap of the race here. There you go. Onto the grass, into the barrier. But he does carry it on and will come over the line as he's coming into Sagres. Now, not a banger, but, you know, not a bad evening.
No, I might as well. You said about being Mystic Meg. I might as well call you Predictive Parfitt. How does that sound?
Oh, I like that one.
There we go. Double P.
Yeah, I love that one. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is the word I was looking for. That people were thinking that this may be a bit of a bogey round. It hasn't been for James Barry. Simon Edwards will probably be thinking, like, what if after that incident coming down to the final few corners on race 1, then of course the you strike 3, you're out after the incident involving him and Mike Gousson after Graham Brown. But yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's a fairly decent track to have for midway point of the season, but you want to get that bogey round out of the way, and that's probably how Simon Edwards will look at this round here tonight, James, if I'm completely honest with you, and go, right, okay, what's up next? Donington National. Oh, lovely circuit. Fantastic track. It is going to see a lot more cars on grid, with obviously the notable amount of absentees we've had tonight here for round 7. But nevertheless, James Barry is making a point to Simon Edwards, saying, you might have beaten me last time on the last season, but this time my gloves are up and prepare to defend yourself, good sir.
Well, I think you might be right, but I don't think Edwards is done by any shape or imagination. James Barry takes the victory. Paul LeMay in 2nd. Simon Edwards in 3rd. Then you got Graham Brown, Graham Matthews, the 2 Grahams together in 4th and 5th. David Rolleston and Michael LeMay had a great little ding-dong. Fair play to them. And it was David Rollo who come out in front in 6th place. Michael LeMay ended up 7th. Darrell Taylor down in 8th. Mike Booth on 14 laps down. Crashed, basically. Skittled. Nothing he could do, and just went straight into the side of Simon Edwards. That was his race done. Dan Webster come out and then left again, and then missed the start of the race. So that was unfortunate for him on that one. We can have a chat here. This is going to be a very interesting conversation with our very own and haven't spoken to for quite a while, Mr. Graham Brown. Welcome in, Graham. How are you, sir?
These guys, yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah.
How was it out there?
Hot and sweaty, but good fun.
It was good fun. Let's go into race number 1. Finished in 3rd place there as well. Nice fight through race 1. Not a bad finish, taking the podium.
Yeah, no, that was a good one. It's unfortunately it's through an issue with track incident with Simon Edwards, so it doesn't feel right taking the podium that way, but I need the points, so I take it.
Yeah. Let's have a chat about race 2.
Yeah, a bit of a funny opening lap.
Yeah. Poor old Mike, you lifted him up in the air, sir.
Yeah, I just had a look at that. I was kind of going to the inside, and then he jinked right in front of me, and then stuck the brakes on. I had nowhere to go.
No, exactly. We did say that. He did say that both of you were taking the inside line there, and unfortunately come to contact. And then poor old Mike just went and careered into Simon. Do you reckon you could have got Simon in race 2?
If I didn't make so many errors, maybe. But I think it was just whoever had the least damaged car at that stage.
Mm.
Because looking at the fastest laps in race 1, there's like about a tenth between us.
Yeah.
So there would have been a race, but yeah, I think it just came down to who had the least damage at the end. And well, sorry, I think Simon had more damage. I just made more mistakes.
Yeah. I think.
Just started to push too much when the fronts were going, and then just made too many silly mistakes, and then left it too late.
And then it all went just there as well. But listen, you still got a fourth and a third. Not a bad evening.
Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah.
I would as well, to be blatantly honest with you, Graham, and I think you've done a great job. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Oh, shout out my partner Edna, because she's from Portugal, so this is her home track.
Oh, nice. On that one,
Yeah.
fair play to you, dear sir. You get to sleep in the bed tonight. Well done.
Yeah.
Take care,
Away
mate.
from the sofa for once.
yeah, mate, I know that feeling. That's my home, I think. Right, dude, have a good one, bud, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, nice one. Take care. Catch you
Take
next
care,
time.
mate. Right, now we're going to have a chat with Mr. Paul LeMay here as well. Let's go into race number 1, finish middle of the pack for race number 1 there, Paul. How are you? And welcome in. And how was race 1?
Hello, mate. Yeah, it's sort of difficult, really. Yeah, I just didn't let the tyres come in and spun out of third place. And then had to really fight tooth and nail to get back up through the pack. Rolo made it nice and difficult, so that was good fun. But yeah, I just made a silly mistake, and that cost me, really.
Race number 2 was a different story, though, dear sir. Got yourself in a second. I almost thought you were going to hang it with Mr. James Barry there, but the second half of that race, it kind of just dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, I tried to keep James honest for the first few laps, and I wasn't doing too bad a job. And James is like a metronome. He's just keeps going, and the hands were starting to play up a bit. So I just thought I'd got to try and really watch the gap to Simon. So that's really what my main aim was. But I did try and have a bit of a race with James, but in the end, he's just too quick.
Yeah, Simon obviously got involved in the Mike Bousson bowling alley at the beginning.
Which took me out.
Yeah, there was quite a few of you as well. Darryl Taylor, I think you and Darryl had an incident first. And then, I think he missed you because by what I saw off the replay, I believe there was an incident with Darryl in that lot as well before.
I was behind Darryl when Mike went up the inside of Simon.
When at that moment in time, Mike went up and absolutely ding-donged everybody. Yeah, I mean, in full Mike fashion on that. So fair play.
One of those things.
Yeah, it happens, mate. It happens, doesn't it? You know what I mean? Listen, though, going forward, anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Mr. Clark again, really. Hopefully he'll be racing at Donington. I know he loves racing there, so I'm hoping his shark bite's healed and he's feeling fit and ready to go next week.
Well, let's see on that one how he's got on. It says a hole in his leg on that, so that's a bit dramatic for poor old Paul to be dealing with. So get well soon, Mr. Clark. Have fun one, Mr. LeMay, and I'll see you Sunday.
Yeah, will do, James. Take care now.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Bye.
All right, next up in the booth, we'll have a chat with this man here as well. Unfortunately, not a night to remember for Simon Edwards. A race 1 incident on the final lap with Mr. James Barry, and then unfortunately he was the strike for Mike Bousson as Mike come in at a rapid rate of knots on that one. Let's have a chat with him here as well, see how he is this evening. Mr. Simon Edwards, welcome in, bud. How are you?
I'm all right. Don't ask for lottery numbers.
Oh, dude, you could not buy a luck tonight, could you?
No, I don't know how you called that first race, but I'm a bit disappointed in that. The second one, how could it go worse? I've made such a good start.
Yeah, the problem is, I think as much as we'd love to sit here and go, it was all on Mike, he couldn't help it, mate. He got lifted up by Graham Brown, and he was just a passenger at that point as well. So it was a bit of a tough one for him. the first incident for me was tricky because there was definite velcroing between the two of you. You know, that moment where all of a sudden you just get stuck together and you just went straight across the front. And it's a little bit of a difficult one to call, and to the point of where we kind of stayed out of it up here, Simon, to be blatantly honest with you. But going forward, championship is looking rather interesting here. Can you take it to Barry still?
If he gets my luck, I'm hoping to pass it on. Yeah.
Right, okay. So you're going to try and transfer the bad luck solution that's been going on at the moment.
I'm going to do a little dance in a grass skirt tonight and see if we can do it.
You're only allowed to do that if you can shoot it on a video and send it to me, because I think that would be absolutely amazing. Seeing you pray to the gods for the luck here as well. All right, going forward, let's skip this one. Going forward into week 8, Donington Park, National Circuit. How do you think you're going to get on?
Is the National without the twiddly bit at the end? Just the
yes. Yep.
Yeah, should be good. It's probably not one of my best pace tracks, but it's a good track to race on.
Right. Okay. What can you do to change anything, Simon? You don't need to change your speed. You don't need to change your driving. Can you really get out of bed and put your pants on before your socks to try and change your luck?
It's going to have to be that, isn't it? I mean that second race, there's nothing I could do about that. There's, that's pure luck, I think. That's just, I'm not going to blame Mike. I'm not going to blame Graham. It's just one of those things.
Yeah,
but that can happen to not just me. So, I mean, I was what? If I'd been 2/10 further up the road, it'd have probably missed my back end.
Yeah, and then that would have been Darryl Taylor, I think, would have copped the force of that one. So there we go.
Car was evil to drive afterwards.
Yeah, I can imagine, dude. I can imagine as well. But listen, well done anyway for finishing the race, taking a 3rd place, which is a miracle, a silver lining on what has been an absolute rotten evening for you there, sir. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Let's give a shout out to Mike for joining and making the numbers up.
Maybe buy the track a little bit earlier than an hour before.
Yeah,
might be a good idea. All right, Simon, take care, buddy, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yep, see you.
All right, and next up on the list is the man that got a double victory. Was race 1 a sweet victory, or did it leave that sour taste in the mouth of Mr. James Barry? But he did go on raw into race number 2. He kind of avoided all of the flying, Mike Buson, and managed to go through and take the victory in race number 2. Mr. James Barry, welcome in, dear sir. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. It was a bit stressful, I guess, those races.
Yeah. What? How do you see race number 1?
Well, I don't know. I've had a look, and I think I could have stayed a little bit more left, but at the same time, at the point we made contact, I think my car was pointing in a straight line, and there was a bit of netcode from my perspective, from my replay. Yeah, I could have stayed a bit more left. I was kind of avoiding the preceding curb on the left-hand side because it makes my force feedback feel weird. I let Simon know that. I mean, it sounds a bit stupid, but naturally I was avoiding that curb a little bit every lap. So maybe that's why I washed out a little bit. And then, I don't know, Simon obviously wanted to pinch me on the left just to make it as hard as possible for me to go around the outside in the next corner. And yeah, it happened. And I mean, I don't think I did too much wrong, but it is what it is. I don't know.
All right, mate. Moving on. Let's go.
What do you think?
Don't ask me, dude. We couldn't call it up here in the booth. Me and Alex said at one point it looked both of you moved, and then at one point you just got that horrible, weird Velcro thing together where you're side by side next to you're going across the nose, and yeah, dude, we didn't call it, to be blatantly honest. It wasn't definitive enough for us up here on that one. But however, race number 2, little bit easier for you as you took the win by 13 seconds.
It was. I mean, I somehow didn't get any damage. I had 2 contacts at the start of the race with the thing that happened on the first lap with, I think it was Mike and others. I saw it coming, pulled off to the left, slowed down a lot, and then I still managed to drive into someone. But somehow didn't get damage, and then didn't get damage again when I hit Graham the next lap, I think. I think it was green. And
It was.
so I was a bit lucky. And then, obviously I knew I had the pace then to get the win after that. But certainly got away with it there. And obviously Simon got the wrong end of the stick again in that race.
He definitely did.
Unlucky.
Look, nothing Mike could have done. There was nothing Simon could have done. It's almost an Aaron Berg at Nords moment, to be honest, when you're on the grass and you just come around and plough into whoever's in front of you because you can't stop the car. Going forward, though, Donington next week. How do you go at Donny?
Good. I've already been practicing a bit, just for some time, and I'm good there. It'll be good. It'll be a close battle again, I'm sure.
All right, bud. Well, thank you so much for joining us there, mate. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
I'll just shout out the guys who missed the day, like George missed the day through work, Luke missed the day through, I think, helping his dad. So I'll just shout out those guys who missed out today.
Awesome stuff. Well, James, thank you so much there, buddy. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep, see you. Cheers, buddy.
Well, Alex, it was kind of humble interviews between Simon and James, and it was a very different feel, I think, to what we normally get out of the two gentlemen.
Yeah, it is. I think we've gotten to that halfway point in the season now, James, and they know that they can't make mistakes because one of them is going to be champion, one of them isn't. And yeah, it was an unfortunate incident in race one between Simon and James. Let's make no bones about it, shall we? I mean, we could talk about it until the cows come home, but we haven't got enough time in the broadcast to do that. But I think it's now about how the championship progresses through until the 5th of December. That is what we need to keep our eyes on now. And they know whatever unforced error gets done, one person's going to be happy at the end of the season, one ain't.
I agree with you on that one. Right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for us up here in the booth. Thank you so much for joining us. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Alex Goldschmidt as always on a Thursday. And much love once again. Join us next week as we tackle Donington National. Don't forget, a lot more racing coming up on the JPB YouTube channel this week. In fact, there is absolutely tons of it starting later on, with two broadcasts going out. It's the Triple Bypass Xfinity race at Talladega, and then we got the GT3 simulation from Simcar. That's going out at the Red Bull Ring. We got GT4s this week. We got VWSC Historics 1964s. It's at the full Monza layout, including the oval. Tanzo's back with their final rounds at Summit Point. IGP from Mazzano. Then we got Super Formula Series. It is also at Mazzano. We got Little Brothers in the lights. Well, then we got the Big Brothers followed after that as well. And on Sunday, there's also TSRC. So join us for that one. I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Alex Goldschmidt. And as always, take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.